Module 3 is all about emotional regulation. Basically, it's about caring about how you feel. Our emotions are chemical signals. Each emotion has a chemical equation. The quality of our blood and the quality of its ability to heal injured tissue is directly proportional to the quality of how you are feeling. The happier you feel, the faster you heal. So that's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Because we're in pain, we've been in pain for a long time, we're feeling frustrated, we're feeling angry, we're feeling shame, we're feeling guilt, we're feeling a plethora of heavy, dense emotions. We're human, and that's completely natural. But our internal state is our ability to coexist with all that's going on in the world and in our bodies and not react to it. Very hard to hear, very hard to do in practice. Not saying you have to be an expert at it, but in this module we're going to explore if potentially emotional dysregulation is part of why you keep in a pain spiral. If we think about your average day, your average emotional state, that will pretty much be you and your identity. Some people are happy, some people are sad, some people are anxious, some people are angry. Emotions come and go throughout the day. We all tend to have certain emotions that we're more addicted to. It's just part of our, again, homeostasis and our default cycle of existence, that some of us hang out in higher states more often and some of us hang out in heavier states more often. Some of us ping from high to low. There's no judgment in any of it. What we're trying to become aware of is how that internal state affects your experience of pain. Cortisol is obviously the stress hormone, and cortisol feeds inflammation in our bodies. So we could be popping anti-inflammatories all day to lower our inflammatory markers, or we could start to try and lower our cortisol levels through other means, through thinking more peaceful thoughts, through doing soothing things for our body that calm us down and take away that threat concept in the nervous system. But for now, I just want you to understand that the way you feel really does matter. Just like how you move matters, how you feel in your body while you're moving and going about your everyday business is really important. And prioritizing how you feel is perhaps one of the simplest conceptual ideas to speed up healing rates, but very hard in reality to practice if you've been conditioned to be a different way. The irony is cortisol, we know, spikes inflammatory markers, but oxytocin, which is the love drug, is an inhibitor of cortisol. So it's quite funny that the more we feel love, peace, connection, joy in our hearts, the lower our cortisol levels. And oxytocin is like a natural wonder drug in your body that if you can ramp it up, it speeds up your immune factor, your ability to catch infections or to fight all the colds, flus going around. But it also, as I said, limits your inflammatory production. So I think it's really important that we understand our own emotional chemistry so that we can, wherever possible, take full advantage of how our bodies work in our favor rather than letting our emotional responses be hijacked by what we're noticing and hearing externally. Not asking you to become a Zen master, not asking you to stifle, restrain, push down, censor how you feel. More just inviting awareness of how do you feel most of the day, and can you start to see any link between how you feel and how you experience your pain states or your general sense of energy. I'd like you just, if possible, just to take a few minutes to sit calmly. Perhaps close your eyes so that you can actually come into your body and sense and notice how you actually are feeling in this very moment. Do you find it hard to even put a label on how you feel? Most of us were taught that feelings are random and that they don't really matter, and to ignore them or suppress them. What vocabulary do you have around your emotional state? I used to operate off about 4 words. I'm laughing about it because it's no joke. I had angry, sad, frustrated. They were probably my 3, actually. Only about 3. I was either angry, I was either frustrated, or maybe sad. There wasn't much peace, love, or joy. In fact, there was pretty much an emotional numbness, if I'm honest, because I was very in my head, very intellectual. I knew a lot, pretty intelligent, had a lot of knowledge, a lot of emotional disconnection. It's been a bit of a journey personally, which is why I don't advocate anything I haven't already done. So becoming aware of, in this moment, what words would you give your emotional state right now? Do you have 1,000 words that you feel like you could sift and choose through, or is your sort of banding of emotions limited to about 4 words? And where are you holding that emotion in your body? Is your jaw clenched? Are your butt cheeks gripping? Is there a state of tension in your belly? Can you take a full breath? Can you drop? Does silence disturb you? Start to become aware of what you're feeling most of the time. And then I'd invite you to play with noticing what are your habits? What are your habitual emotions? And when you're feeling heavier emotions, how do you experience your pain? Is it heightened? When you get into agitated states of worry, anxiety, fear, shame, how does that impact on your perception of your pain? And the opposite, when you're with a loved one and you're having a fun conversation, or you're laughing, or you're nursing a baby, or you're patting your dog or your cat, you're relaxing on the couch, watching a comedy, are you even aware of your pain in those moments? What I'm inviting you to simply become aware of is that your emotional state is your internal biochemistry, and it really could be the blind spot. It could be that you're in an emotional addiction that you are completely unaware of, that is keeping you in a nervous system of threat and hypervigilance, which is slowing down what your body is trying to do for you, which is to heal something. But the nervous system in which it's trying to do that healing is fighting it. Again, no judgment, no need to fix. The beautiful thing about awareness is that often it's all that there is. It's all that's needed is just an awareness. And with awareness comes choices. Things like emotional holding, trauma, protective patterns, they take a lot of extra energy in the body to sustain. And we talked about that protective loop. There's a lot of energy goes into protecting and holding that loop and keeping it vigilant. And that's why often in pain we feel so fatigued, so depleted, so worn out, because we're sustaining a protective loop that takes a lot of energy. And the beautiful thing about healing is that as we dissolve more and more of those protective layers, more energy is liberated to do the things that you no doubt used to do without thought before you found yourself in this situation. So module 3, emotional regulation. Could it be your blind spot? I would argue if you've been in pain for longer than 6 months, there's a very high chance that your emotional regulation is a blind spot, and you're human. And if you've been living in pain and you've been worried about the pain and you've been fearful about the pain, then you'll be in the loop unconsciously without even being aware. And there's no judgment in that. It's purely because you're human and you think like most humans think, and that's okay. So let's just become aware. We talk about solutions down track. That's your exercise, just to sit, become more aware of what emotional state you're in, try and name it, try and locate it in your body, try and notice its impact on your pain experience. Certain emotions wind up pain, we feel it more. Certain emotions lower our perception of pain. See you in module 4.